Hello, this is Maria Fez from Coastal Carolina Community College's LRC, and I'm going to talk to you today about MLA citations and how we can get the information from our sources for citations more easily than you might think. And we're going to talk about citations as explanations for the readers of your paper. So, why do we cite? Besides the fact that we have to for our papers that we write for class, well, we have to give credit to the author from where we got the source. We also want to show readers where we found our information so that they can locate those sources quickly if they want to read up on it themselves or if they want to see, wow, this sounds interesting, where did they get it from? So that's what we're going to focus on today, to show readers where we found our information. So we're explaining it to them. So before we start, you all have to have a little Seagull handbook for your English classes. And this is such a helpful resource for when you're doing citations. If you want to open it up to the MLA section now during this presentation, if you have it handy, that's great. But I just want to make you aware that this is a really great thing to use, especially for figuring out what order all the information for the citation goes in and also how to format it. So, citations as explanations. Think about the information you need from an explanation from your friend about where they got dinner. They just checked out this new restaurant and they keep talking about how great the food is, and then they forget what the name of the restaurant is and they can't really tell you where it's located. Well, that's not helpful. You're not going to be able to find that restaurant necessarily without any more information. Same thing goes with citations. Your instructor, however smart they might be, cannot search the whole World Wide Web with only a little bit of info to find what sources you used. So you want to explain to them using our usual explanations of who, what, when, where, and how. I'm sure a lot of you have heard those words together before, so we're going to use them here. So this next citation is from one of the LRC's databases called Credo, and Credo gets its information from dictionaries and encyclopedias. So this citation is about odor and pheromone receptors from one of the encyclopedias that we got from Credo. So our who is going to be the author of this article. And there's her name, Ann Kemp, in the regular citation pattern here. Next we have a what. What is this article about? That's going to be the title of the article, Odor and Pheromone Receptors. So that's explained to a reader, what the heck were we looking at? A when, as you can see, we've got two dates here. This first when is when the article was actually published, so it's a little bit older of an article. This newer date, when, is the access date, the date that you access the article online. Online resources almost all the time will have this access date because it is going to be very different from when the actual article was written. So it's really good to know, especially if it's a current event, when did you access it? Could it have changed since then? So I accessed this quite a long time ago. Might be good to have a newer access date. So we have two whens for our online resources. The where did we find this title of information? Where did we find this what? This title in this article was located in a bigger encyclopedia, the Encyclopedia of Paleontology. And our other where is Credo reference. When you use something from a database, and they explain this really well in your little seagull, you'll need to put what database it came from. Where did you find this whole encyclopedia? Well, it was online from Credo reference. So those are our two wheres. And then our last one is how. How did we access this information? We got it on the web. The other alternative to that is usually print. How did we get this? It was in print form. It was a print book. So that is a citation from Credo. Okay, so here's another one that I'd love for you to try along with me here. This is from one of the Bedford Spotlight readers that you may have used in class. And this is an anthology. So it's in print and it contains a lot of smaller stories within it. So we first have our who, which would be the author. Now there's another who in this one, and I'll tell you right now, his name is not Ed. Might look like it is. He's the editor. So a lot of times in a larger work that has a lot of little articles in it, you'll have an editor and you need to put their name in there as well. So in this case we have two who's. Next we've got our what. That's going to stay the same. That's our title. Here's our when. Now here we only have one when. That's because this is a print source, so the date you accessed it is not going to matter very much because it's probably not going to be updated in a few weeks. That would be a whole other new edition of a new book. So we just need the one when there. We've got a where. Just like that article was in a bigger encyclopedia, this story was in a larger anthology. So that larger anthology, money changes everything. Now we have another where here. If you have seen this before, that is often the publisher and where the publisher is located. And that's Boston and it's Bedford St. Martin. So that's another where. Where was this book published? And believe it or not, we have a third where. Those are the page numbers. Sometimes it's tricky to see because you don't put P or PG or PGS for pages. We just put that right before our how, which is print. We access this as a print book. So as you can see, even if the citations have a couple different things in them because they're print materials or online or we got them from a database, those who, what, when, where, and how are all going to be included somewhere. So if you can find all that information, you're on your way to making a really good citation. Some other helpful resources that we have in the LRC, we have a citation help page on the LRC website, and you can click that link there to go. And on the side here, I have our style guides. These are the print versions of some of the citation help that we have online, and these can all be found in the library. They're on reserve. You can check them out and keep them in the library for up to 2 hours. So if you forget your little seagull one day and you're trying to do citations, don't fear, we have one in the library. You can always come to the library staff with any questions you have about citations. We are more than willing to help. That's why we're here. And of course your instructor, they are awesome and they really want you to do well, and they will also help you with any citation questions.